Without knowing it, I've always wanted to be an artist. When I imagine the life of the artist I love, I think about them spending long, uninterrupted hours toiling, teasing, reading, and tinkering in solitude. Long walks that spark the words that would become books, the shapes that would become clay, and the colors that would become canvas. What they had was time. But rarely did these images include the obligations they had to their families, to deadlines, or to take care of themselves. Most days, I wake up already feeling at least 10 steps behind. I wake up, wash dishes, unload dishwasher, make breakfast, feed dogs. And by the time it's my turn, there usually isn't much left. It becomes an endless cycle of what I have to do versus what I wish to do. My need becomes redefined by the demands of capitalism and the reality of no longer being solely responsible for myself. I'm pushed into a never-ending to-do list. Is it too late? For as long as I can remember, I've had some kind of creative urge. I wanted to be a fashion designer at one point, an interior designer, and I was even into music. But at no point did I ever consider myself an artist. And the fact is, there was no one around me who knew to call it that. We were focused on survival. And as a result, I never saw it as a possibility. The career paths put in front of me were meant to be the ones that were fail-proof, to ensure success, safety, and security. As a result, there have been many moments where it's felt like I was living life looking over a fence, admiring the beautiful spaces that others seem to have the time to create. Until eventually, I start to think, it must be me. I must be doing something wrong. I didn't go to the right school, study the right things, or meet the right people. Or if I was really an artist, it would come easy to me. I would just create. Sometimes I pine for younger days so that I can live the artist life that I never did. So that I can be then what I want to be now. We live in a society that privileges the young, especially in American society. You have to do everything before you get quote unquote old. You have to travel, you have to have children, you have to reach certain levels of accomplishment. And while I know that being in my 30s is nowhere near end of life, for as long as I'm able to walk this earth, I also feel the pressures of time, the pressures that demand you to know exactly who you are and why you do what you do. I'm coming to realize that I deserve time. I deserve time to ask myself the same questions that I asked in my 20s, in my 30s. Who am I? What do I want to see in the world? How do I want to contribute? What do I love? What makes me feel good? What makes me feel whole? What makes me feel nourished? Those questions aren't reserved for being young, for just starting. We should constantly be asking ourselves those questions at every stage of our life. In this pressure cooker to do more, I want to do less, more deeply. I want to take my time and really feel, to be unattached to the final result, to the outcome. I've been thinking about that quote, which I don't know who said it, but essentially it says, first make the thing exist and then make it good. The reality is, I've created a life that I equally love as much as my art. And so, how do I hold those two things when sometimes they feel in tension with one another? And so now, here, a few years into my 30s, I'm figuring out, what does it mean to be an artist? I posed the question earlier, is it too late? Of course it's not too late. I think the question is more so, how will I protect my creativity? Most days, my creative process doesn't look like leisurely walks and afternoons spent reading and exploring. Instead, I create calendar blocks, make task lists, and set reminders. It is in the intentional time spent accessing my nervous system, reacquainting myself with my curiosity. Practically, it means that I have to communicate. I have to tell my wife when now is the time for me, that this is my time for creation. This is my time to film. This is my time to reflect. This is my time to be in study with myself. Every day, the algorithm sells the dream. In a world becoming rapidly reliant on AI, the message is clear. You should be able to produce more, create more output, more proof that you exist and that you are creating. But I have to leave space for the messiness of creation. A beautiful part of stumbling on acceptance as an artist at this stage of my life is to realize all of the accumulated wisdom. I'm not starting from scratch. I'm not behind. It's not too late. I'm starting from a place of depth, from years of living, observing, and feeling. And I've come to appreciate when art shows up in those in-between moments while I'm doing dishes, folding clothes, making the bed. My creativity moves with me. Maybe the life I imagined for the artist I love isn't so different from mine after all. Maybe they were also showing up, imperfectly, but intentionally, one blocked off hour at a time. Maybe what artists are trying to show us is that the art is in the process, the practice, the becoming.